Right, it's hitting midday where I am in Sydney, so time to start and kick off our webinar. So a very good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are situated, and thank you for joining our webinar, Boost Your MSP Profitability with Cloud-Ready Solutions. My name is Kelly van der Hayden, and I'm the Sales Director at Cloud-Ready Solutions, and will be your moderator for today's webinar. Our panel today are very experienced and experts in their field, and I'd like to welcome Nicholas G., our very own Cloud-Ready Solutions Director, Technical Director and local guru, and Nick will be talking on the StarWind Virtual Tape Library and vSAN solutions, and also the Wasabi hot cloud storage. We have Karl Thomson presenting out of New Zealand on Arcserve, the Arcserve APAC Presales Director. David Cootes, welcome to David. He's the Rackcorp Director of Sales and Marketing based in Sydney. We have Donovan Reiger, Cibecs Sales Director based in Canberra. And all the way from Ireland, we have McMahan, Founder and CEO of Calibrate. So welcome to all our panelists. We have a number of existing partners on the webinar today, so a very special welcome to all our partners. For those that don't know Cloud-Ready Solutions, Cloud-Ready Solutions is a specialist IT solutions distributor. We have partnered with leading IT vendors to provide a comprehensive range of IT solutions for MSPs, but also system integrators, IT resellers, with solutions that target SMB, mid-market, enterprise, and government departments, and span all markets, whether it be finance, education, retail, transport, legal industries, mining, etc. Our focus is on helping MSPs like you find the right products and services to meet the specific needs for your clients. Many MSPs today have become more efficient with automation, but costs are increasing, such as staffing costs, and MSPs need to look elsewhere to save money and increase margin. Today, we will hear from a number of our experts on how you can use our vendor technologies and solutions to improve efficiency, reduce your costs, and ultimately boost your profitability. If you have any queries during the webinar, please add to the chat bar, and we will endeavor to answer at the end of the webinar. Please note at the end of the webinar, we'll have a link to our webinar workbook, which is a fantastic workbook covering all the topics today, and the survey. Make sure you fill out the survey for a chance to win $500 credit towards your first Arcserve SaaS order. And you'll hear all about the Arcserve SaaS solutions from our very next presenter and our first presenter, Karl Thomson. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Karl Thomson. Karl is a specialist and laser focused on business continuity solutions, backup and DR solutions for MSPs, and has been with Arcserve for over 9 years. So I'll hand over to Karl. Karl.
Thanks, Kelly. G'day, everybody. So in theme with the webinar, I'm going to be talking about how our MSPs can save time and money. I'm going to cover off the Arcserve Solo DR as a service solution, as well as our SaaS backup solution. So firstly, I'd like to take you through our Solo MSP business continuity platform. And what you can see here is our Solo is tightly integrated into our One system, which is our single point for management of the solution in terms of data protection, disaster recovery, and complete lifecycle management of the policy and protection there. And then we have our multi-tenant cloud services platform. So this is where we can provision a complete business continuity failover into the cloud, and then the ability to revert back on-prem at a suitable time. So looking at the Solo solution, what we have is a powerful data protection capability, and this starts with reliable recovery across physical and virtual environments. It is flexible in that we can go from physical to virtual or to different virtual environments or recover into our DRAS environment, giving us the flexibility to act quickly in the event of something going wrong. The integration to the hypervisors, specifically VMware and Hyper-V, where we have instant recovery capability. And obviously, as your customers are on the journey and their data sizes are growing, it is important that we can quickly virtualize those backups without having to wait hours, if they have terabytes of data. So instant recovery. And with that integration into the hypervisors, we have the ability, obviously, to protect those VMs agentless or using our agent, which has its own VSS provider, giving us a very high-level, consistent, application-aware backup inside the VM guest. This solution is compatible with your existing backup infrastructure. So if you've already invested in NAS storage or backup server infrastructure, we can obviously leverage that for backup repository. The Solo also does bring an exciting way to standardize on solutions as well. And what we have is a very simple SLA-oriented workflow. So what this does, and this is driven from our One System dashboard, but it allows you to define a policy that will cover the whole data protection lifecycle. So we're talking backup frequency, local retention, offsite replication, and retention around that as well. This offers a very simple approach, very simple, allowing you to rapidly scale across your customer base and standardize. The One System itself is a very intuitive dashboard where you get instant visibility across all of your customers. We can quickly see if a customer's gone offline or there's a machine that's falling out of SLA. But this single pane of glass gives us the ability to, perform backup recovery, monitoring, management, reporting, and integrations, all driven from one place, which is very simple. From an MSP perspective, it really is plug and protect solution, right? The device itself doesn't have a HDMI VGA port. You literally plug it into power, give it Ethernet, it'll automatically call home to our cloud hosted One System, and away you go. So very simple. And then obviously rinse and repeat across your customer base, allowing you to standardize becomes key. Obviously, we have our DRAS platform I touched on. We'll also talk about, what CRS are doing with Wasabi, and that flows into a promo that they have there as well. But from a deployment perspective, as I mentioned, you plug it in. We've got an agent that runs across Hyper-V and or physical or virtual machines you're wanting to protect with the agent, API integration directly into VMware. The backups, again, can go to any existing storage you have. The Solo itself has a capability to put a hard drive in it. Or you can connect USB drives. And this is really where we're seeing MSPs like that standardization. They don't have a mix and match of different backup infrastructure. They can put a Solo in if the environment is physical only, or if it's a different hypervisor. It really allows them to mix and match different customers with a single solution. The Solo itself can handle up to 20 different machine backups. So again, you're not right sizing per customer. You can drop a Solo in. We can back up direct to any of these cloud locations you can see on the screen, or back up locally first for local recovery options, and then send a copy of those backups into the cloud. So super flexible. You don't have to right size. Very quick deployment within minutes. Literally plug it in, assign it to a customer site, and apply the data protection and replication you like. As you can see here, this device is really a gateway type device. It's not a BDR. It's not designed to recover the backups on the device. It does have an option to put your own hard drive in there, or as I mentioned, leverage existing network storage. It's also got 2 USB ports, which you can plug in external USB drives as well. So lots of flexibility in the device. And from the recovery perspective, as I touched on, it's very tightly integrated into your production hypervisor environment. So whether it be Hyper-V or VMware, again, regardless of how large those machines are, it can instantly turn it on. As it reads from those backups, it will write directly into your primary storage, giving you rapid virtualization and transparent backfill, where it will transparently migrate that data as users are online. We have the capability to do that out of any location. So if your on-site storage somehow was compromised or had failed, we can resume backups direct to cloud. We can also recover directly out of cloud storage as well, or recover in the cloud should it be a catastrophic failure. So a lot of capability there within the product and integration. In terms of the cloud services DRaaS solution, this is our purpose-built disaster recovery cloud platform for total business continuity. The idea is to protect your on-premise business systems and data, and obviously have it securely isolated and off-site. And with our solution, it is not just off-site storage, it's also giving you included virtualization capability with our premium offering, and full networking failover capability, where we can pre-configure static IPs, reserve your server IP addresses, configure port forwarding, site-to-site VPN, IPsec, OpenVPN client connections that can all be pre-configured with a single click to bring up that workload in the cloud and offer, very quick self-driven DRaaS capability for you and your customers. So in summary, very cost effective. Obviously, I haven't touched on the pricing, but CRS can take you through that, the great team there. SLA orientated protection, single pane of management with multi-tenancy, data sovereignty and redundancy for continued data availability, and obviously secure by design with the architecture that we have. Everything's encrypted in transit and the DRaaS capability that is included there. So as I touched on during that presentation there, the CRS is providing a special offer at the moment where they're including Wasabi storage as well. So, if you have a requirement to have, machines that don't need the full DRaaS, or maybe you want a longer term archive or another copy somewhere else, obviously you can hook that in as well, which is really cool. So just moving forward in the interest of time, I'd now like to take you through our SaaS backup solution. So this is really where you need to drive awareness into your customer base, if not already, and really understand, as we've moved on-prem workloads into the cloud, we take advantage of the highly scalable and redundant capabilities that come with a lot of these SaaS vendors. But this diagram really depicts what's under the water. We used to back up these servers, and that's not necessarily included in that transition as they adopt that cloud journey. And so having a solution that can protect and recover and secure the data in a separate location and give availability if that primary location goes offline or there's some sort of malicious event, it becomes really important. There's a lot of stats out here, this one coming from Gartner, about the number of organizations that have suffered disruption due to unrecoverable data loss. And you dig into the reasons, again, majority is human error. Again, why we used to back up, why we do back up on-prem, accidental deletion, overwrites, closing accounts, but then, the hacking and insider threats are increasing, third-party software problems, obviously the whole driver with bring your own device, work from home with COVID, there's more and more data that's important to the operation of our customers, and having that data protected in a manner that they can quickly get access is really important. So what we have is a dedicated SaaS data protection solution. We first and foremost focus on their availability. We want to, if it's Microsoft 365 we're talking about, we want to get it out of Microsoft and have it somewhere else, such as a vendor neutral location. We have redundancy and immutability and data sovereignty, all part of that solution. With cost effective, what we do is we have a cloud to cloud solution. We price per seat. It includes unlimited storage. The retention can be as long as you need. There's no tearing, so the ingestion, the egress is all included, and scalability, things like shared mailboxes, for example, we would include for free. Simplicity first, you'll see, I'll take you through a very quick demo if we have time on the user interface, and the speed at which this can be set up is literally within minutes. And we also have a full MSP provisioning portal, which actually integrates in with the DRaaS I just touched on, where we can go and create a customer and set them up immediately. There's no placing a PO to bring on each individual customer. Instant recovery, one of the highlights of our solution is the ability to rapidly get a customer access to data that they're missing or need, and at the same time, kick off a high-speed restore back into their tenant. And security, I touched on the immutability, but having all of the multi-factor and immutable capabilities and encryption and so forth, we follow a strict API approach with how we back up this data that is secured in transit at rest to give us a fantastic solution here. What you'll see here is that it's not just Microsoft, right? We include with Microsoft 365, we'll include the Azure AD. You've got things like Dynamics 365, Power BI is coming into the protection here as well. We've got Google Workspace, Salesforce, Zendesk is another one that's coming in. But as we continue to scale out this platform, it really allows you to land and expand within your customer base, whether there's one of these components they need today, and as they grow and we pick up additional coverage and applications, they'll be able to protect those workloads. Microsoft 365 specifically is one of the largest SaaS vendors in the world. We've got comprehensive protection here. Things like in-place archives, public folders, comprehensive groups and teams protection, OneDrive, including the file versioning, SharePoint, backing up and recovering the permissions is key. Most vendors miss out on that capability and creates a whole other problem when you're going through that journey. Azure AD will include for free with the Microsoft 365 protection, giving you protection across users, groups, admin units, roles, logs, and so forth. So again, very comprehensive. Here's a full list of the data types that are being picked up in there. But things like, the Teams chat, not only backing up, but actually putting it back in place. We're not just going to give you a HTML file with the contents there. It's restoring the SharePoint permissions I touched on. A lot of these capabilities, from backing up equally as important around recovery. One of the highlights is the shareable link. Someone says, my OneDrive, I'm missing some files. We can instantly share them a public link. They can navigate it. They can quickly grab a file. They can confirm that's what they want. And then we'll go and drive a high-speed restore back into the tenant. So capability around coverage and recovery is really important. Around sovereignty, obviously, we're in Australia. We have multiple data center facilities where the data spans across, based in Sydney for the APAC region, giving us, a local in-country option here. I've touched on the immutability where we have a write once, read many capability, and active data center configuration, giving us, highly available redundant architecture. I have touched on the API approach and how we deal with protecting that data in transit and at rest. But yeah, obviously giving you a cost-efficient solution, again, price per seat that doesn't necessarily, fluctuate with the amount of data or different objects that we're picking up to protect. So look, I've just got a few minutes and I apologize, I am speeding through this, but I really did want to take the opportunity to take you through the user interface. I've got a number of connectors configured in here across different workloads, but if we look at what you will do is you'll come in and go add connector. You can see here with 365, you simply log into your 365 portal. The very next thing it will pop up with is what you want to protect. So things like Exchange and OneDrive, what we will do is we'll actually enable you to go and select an Azure AD group. So your user selection can be completely driven from your Microsoft tenant. You put the users in the group. If you change that, then each time we do a backup, we'll adhere to that. So the coverage there is very simple. Comprehensive protection, including the in-place archive, will be picked up. Very much the same for OneDrive, user-driven. Will link to your existing selection there. SharePoint changes a little bit. We're going to back up the entire site and all of the data within that. Again, the data types there is very wide coverage, and likewise with groups and teams. So very simple to set up. You can literally have that configured within minutes. And then, the power is the search and recovery, right? I can go in here. If I type in hello, for example, include all the subfolders very rapidly, here's all my emails. I can go on and click on something, I can preview it, I can look at the different versions. I've got an option to download it. I can restore it back into the tenant. I can share a link. So actually that's still just loading a preview, but I'm just going to move a little bit quicker here. If I go into users, Karl, let's go OneDrive, documents, and I've got a shared folder here. So what I can do is click share link, create a public link. I could put a time limit, a password on there. We can go on there, provide that link to any end user. they can click on it, they can go and very quickly access that folder or that set of data. They can preview it, they can download it, they can confirm to you that's what they want. Then we can go and drive the restore back for them. But it's giving very quick, immediate access to your backups all within the portal. So yeah, look, this is a fantastic portal. There's many search and recovery options, from PSTs to restoring SharePoint sites, either in place or to new sites and so forth. We have down the side here, if I just take you through, we've got the job monitor, we've got all the links so we can go and remove them or set passwords. We've got comprehensive auditing log, right to be forgotten. We've also got integration into single sign-on, so we can hook it into your existing tenant, enable multi-factor, full role-based access control, where we can go in and enable an end user to come in to their data set and control what they'll have access to go in and do. So very intuitive, very quick to set up, very price effective around how you're going to protect that data. But yeah, look, in summary, comprehensive coverage for the most popular SaaS applications, cloud native. You don't have to worry about storage, don't have to worry about bandwidth, you don't have to worry about the pricing, it's all included. Single pane of management with multi-tenancy and role-based access control, data sovereignty we touched on, secure by design we touched on, and the immutability, and seamlessly scale. So we have, configurability that allows us to scale into the tens of thousands of mailboxes with consistent performance. So look, this is a fantastic solution that we've seen a lot of demand for, and very glad to be taking you through this with Cloud Ready. So look, just finally on my side, the Arcserve SaaS backup offer by Cloud Ready. There's a promo at the moment, buy 2 years and get the third year for free. So, there's another promo there that Cloud Ready are doing that I'm sure Kelly and Nick and the team will be able to take you through. So look, I'm right on time, so I will move on to the next speaker for this webinar.
Yeah, thanks, Karl. That was fantastic. A lot of information in a short time, but really well covered. Some great MSP solutions on the solo and the SaaS solution. So yeah, we'll hand over to Ben McMahan, the founder and the CEO of Calibrate. Ben is all the way from Ireland, so great to have Ben on board. And Ben is going to go through Calibrate, the cloud optimization solution, and really show you how Ben and them have focused on a solution for MSPs to make it easy for MSPs to help their clients reduce costs or unnecessary costs in the cloud without having to do any coding. So no complexity. So I'll hand it over to Ben. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Kelly. Hello, everyone, and thanks for your time today. So I just want to take you through Calibrate. So just to start off with, just a brief overview. Calibrate was designed to help MSPs to automate a multi-cloud cost optimization platform for their customers, to dramatically reduce cloud spend, to accurately allocate that cost, identify and manage resources, implement governance, and crucially to automate that administration around that governance, and also to reduce and understand power consumption within the cloud of their customers' environments. And to do this with no scripts, no coding, and no hassle. To go into before I start the next slide, a little bit of background. I come from an MSP background. I had an MSP here in Ireland. And my colleagues actually were my competitors who also had MSPs in Ireland. And we had actually sold our businesses to larger MSPs, but in the process for me working with a larger MSP, I took over the Microsoft practice. And what I could see in talking to the CIOs and the CFOs within our customer base was the same question came every time. My customers, my CIO told me when I went to the cloud, it was going to reduce my costs. The opposite has happened. And variations of that theme would happen nearly, verbatim in every single conversation that we were having. So it started the idea for myself and with my colleague Pascal, that this was definitely something that needed to be addressed. But when I talked to the team in the MSP floor, they also said that they were having a problem in that these products were being rolled out to their customers, but every customer seemed to be using a different product. And we couldn't find one that actually fitted for the MSP that has to manage multiple customers, not just itself. And what we found when we looked at the market was that there were solutions out there that were very analytics based. And the problem with that is that they're Google Maps, right? They show you the way, but somebody has to go and drive the car. And for an MSP, that's usually a high cost resource. So we looked at how we could maybe address this and build a product that was built for MSPs for two-tier distribution. So the difference with Calibrate is that we started with our coding and our product, but actually doing something about the problem, not just analyzing to find out what the problems may be for somebody else to fix it. So we don't just analyze, we optimize. We have the Azure cloud launched at the moment with AWS and Google coming later this year. And we automate cloud resource optimization and cost management. We're the only, as I said, the only optimization software out there that's designed specifically for MSPs to manage all of their customers across all the major clouds in one pane of glass, to govern those cloud resources, and also that we're 100% channel, as I mentioned, implement ongoing policies to optimize cloud growth. So what I want to touch on here as well is a little bit of the market. Okay, so I look at this state of the cloud report quite a bit, and for 7 years running, optimize existing use of cloud has come at number one. It's actually, this is last year's report. The new report just got released a couple of days ago, and actually it's 64% this year. And again, 7 years in a row, cost savings and optimizing existing use of cloud for customers is their number one initiative. And that says 7 years in a row that the problem hasn't been solved. But what we're seeing now is the advent of FinOps teams within the enterprise, and that's going to start to filter down into the mid-market as well. And the initiatives are all around cost in many ways, and all around doing more with cloud, but understanding and managing the spend. And what we found within both these reports with Gartner and with the state of the cloud, and from talking to our customers, is, which is really crucial, is that when this efficiency is found, it doesn't go back to the bottom line. The budget is invariably, in fact, 75 to 80% of the time, that budget is used to do more in the cloud. So ultimately, for the MSPs and their partners, what they're doing is they've got a larger cloud that's more efficient. Rather than viewing it as reducing the amount that they spend, it's about finding the waste and turning it into productive spend. And I think that's a very key point. If you look at the other things that they're looking at, they want better financial reporting, which we deliver. They want automated policies for governance, which we help deliver. And they're looking to expand their use of marketplaces and MSPs. So again, here's the metrics that drove those results. So again, cost saving, number one, increased speed of innovation, cost avoidance, value delivered to business units. And I think that's an important one, right? Value is around, your spend being productive. And as you'll see in later slides, the waste that we're seeing in the public cloud is really high. And then if we look at what's happening in terms of their growth within the cloud. So at SMB level and enterprise level, but I think the SMB level is really interesting, is that 60% have grown significantly higher or somewhat higher than planned in the cloud. So, we really are beginning to see extensive growth in cloud usage across all types of enterprise. So this is touching on the waste part. So with Gartner, and with various reports, the mean waste, and this is self-estimated in many cases. So usually it's with slightly rose-tinted lenses, that the waste within the cloud is around 30%. So if we look at the cloud market globally, the public cloud market globally, that's around 600 billion. So I like to use the analogy: if that 30% holds true, the GDP of Finland is wasted in the cloud every year. And I think there's a huge opportunity there for MSPs and for customers to take that 30%, turn it into productive spend. If it's productive, it can grow. If it's waste, it doesn't really go anywhere, and it doesn't really offer any value, and is often rooted out and gotten rid of. So we're a new approach to cloud optimization. Calibrate fully automated and always on. So we've automated scheduling of cloud resources, scaling. We've an automated recommendation generation, optimization guidance, and also in the next release, we're going to have right sizing guidance as well, which will be, moving instances from one type to another to understand what savings your customers can make. Calibrate doesn't require MSPs to do anything. So like I said, you automate, you scale, you optimize, you go. And we're also bringing in unusual activity, cloud level fraud alerts, And then in version 2, we're going very deep into analytics, but also into the power consumption analytics, plugging into the major grids, letting MSPs put their customers' company numbers in and understand the full footprint of their power consumption in terms of IT. And that will be both on-premise and cloud, where, because for power consumption, we feel you need to have a total view of what's going on. Again, why calibrate? So all 3 clouds, automated, specifically designed for MSPs, managed automated schedules, path scaling, optimization of end user cloud resources and budgets, and attractive economic incentives for MSPs. That's just a view there of what the platform looks like. And if we go into the main areas again that we currently have, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but we've got cost and saving reports, multiple management groups. So you can manage this at the instance level, the resource group level, the subscription level, or the tenant level. We have a labels and tags manager. We have cost and savings reports, and again, these are going to be customizable. And we're also bringing in, which I really like, which our team are working on at the moment, is having an MSP QBR report download, where we'll actually package what you need for your QBRs to your customers. Within our roadmap, we've AWS and Google coming, and Alibaba probably early next year. Expanded automation of cloud assets, 365 integration. We're going to have a more advanced and continuous development of analytics and FinOps, cost anomaly detection, as I touched on, power optimization, as I touched on, AI integration within this. And to me, AI is just in our platform, in our world, is proactivity, right? Proactively serving opportunities to optimize your customers' environments. And here's the commercial model. And this is where we're a little different as well for MSPs. So when we started talking internally within, in our previous roles, one of the things we noticed is that all of any cloud understanding analytics product that was out there was designed for the end user, and it was designed for the enterprise. And as a result, the commercials were designed for the enterprise. And what we found a lot of the time was that MSPs and partners was kind of given a nice commercial wrapping around an end user solution to encourage them to manage it and use it. But it was very difficult for MSPs to manage it because there were percentage of total consumption or percentage of the accounts, or lots of different ways in which the technology and both the commercial proposition weren't designed for the one-to-many. They were designed for a one-to-one. And our solution has been designed for the one-to-many. So we were a very, very simple solution, irrespective of the cloud you're using. It's per instance per month. And so you get charged, you bring on the instances for your customers. There's a small charge for the analytics, and then an additional charge is only added when you find an opportunity to optimize and you do that optimization. So when you find the saving, you then pay a little bit extra for the optimized instance. The average saving we find is around 25–30%. So even at that, the average cost of a VM is say $250. You're talking about a $75 saving at an average cost for an MSP or for their customer of around $4.50 to $5 per instance. So there's a huge amount of savings and a low cost to do so. So if we look at that, then we're doing free trials, and what we found with distributors are bundling this with the cloud. So and this is an important point as to why I left that in, but as to why they're doing that. Customers, as they're buying the cloud, should be buying the ability to manage, understand, and optimize that cloud, and I guess MSPs and CSPs likewise. The MSP yourselves, one of the benefits of us is because we have a very simple 2 SKU licensing model. You can then do it whichever way you feel is appropriate for your agreements to your customers. Total savings, monthly spend, by user subscription. You can simply margin. It's really up to yourselves about what suits your business in terms of how you go about your commercial agreements with your customers. And most importantly, the customer wins. It's saving a significant amount of money. And obviously, in terms of managing their cloud, you're building a moat around that customer and building a stronger relationship, a stickability with them, because they understand that you've got their budgets in mind. So key advantages for you is to reduce your professional services costs with automated policies, automatically scale and instance schedules, differentiate your market offering, increase your margin significantly. Our MSPs are making between 30 and 40% gross margin, which is a healthy margin. Historical data and usage patterns. So as soon as you onboard your customers' environment, you will understand where the opportunities are to optimize, reduce their carbon power footprint, advanced management with tags and labels, customized reporting through Power BI and other tools where we're going to be onboarding Yellowfin and others to be able to use those as well, and recommendation engine that continually optimizes. And most importantly, as I said, the customer wins. Lastly, in version 2, we're going to touch on the power. And I don't know about out in Australia and New Zealand, but I know in Europe, this is a very hot topic. So if we look pre-pandemic, the cost per carbon ton for tax against that was around 11 to 13 euros. Now it's over 90. And I'm assuming that that situation is probably proliferating around the world. So we're building a platform to help customers understand and drive efficiencies within their, in Europe, the scope 1, 2, and 3 energy footprint. That's their supply chain and their indirect power costs. So you'll be able to deliver them a report about what they've done and how their work has impacted on their total carbon footprint and sustainability goals. So in summary, multi-cloud, built for two-tier distribution, flexible and lucrative pricing model, analytics, automation, and governance, ideal follow-on sale, 100% channel-only platform, and again, we advance sustainability. And we do it all with no scripts, no coding, and no hassle for you and your team. Thanks very much. And we are also doing a promo. We're doing it for the attendees at this webinar. We're doing a 3-month unlimited 3-month trial where you'll be able to onboard as many of your customers and their accounts and their environments as you like and test the platform.
Well, fantastic.
Kelly, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. That was great. And also, just as a reminder, there are 2 short videos in the workbook that you'll be getting the link for. Short videos on Calibrate to demonstrate just how simple Calibrate is to use for MSPs. As Ben said, there's no coding, and yeah, you don't have any specialized coding to be able to operate the Calibrate software. So fantastic. Thanks a lot for that.
Yeah. Like one of the things we're trying to do is, we're trying to do a lot of things, but one of the things we really want to do is take all those run books and workbooks and, and hide them behind one pane of glass across 3 clouds where they can manage all of their customers and not have to create these on a quarterly, monthly, or whatever basis that they do it, and just take all that pain away from the managed service team.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thanks, Kelly.
All right, so we're now going to hand over to David Cootes, Sales and Marketing Director. The Sales and Marketing Director at Rackcorp Secure Cloud. David, you're on there?
I sure am.
So David, he's a specialist and an evangelist for all good things about the advantages of a secure private cloud platform. So I'll let David carry on and take us through the Rackcorp Secure Cloud. Thanks, David.
Thank you very much, Kelly and Nick, for having me today. And it's great to see so many MSPs and other vendors online here. So let me share my screen with you. Okay, so as Kelly mentioned, I'm the Sales and Marketing Director at Rackcorp. I've been in this role now for just over 9 years, and primarily my role is focused on channel because we are focused on channel. So around about 90% of our business is generated through our partner program, and that consists primarily of MSPs that resell our infrastructure. Many of them choose to white label the platform. So that way, when end customers, end users log in to the system, it's the MSP's cloud. It is their look and feel, it's their logo, it's their domain. So in that respect, we are purely sitting as a wholesale provider of that cloud, and the MSP goes to market with their very own cloud. So that is one option. There are other options, of course, where the MSPs sell transparently with us. We work on deals together, etc. That can occur regardless of the particular model, but there are some partners that don't want to actually white label the platform, and that's fine as well. We're very flexible in terms of how we interact with the market. So we always start with our mission which is to provide the most performant, reliable, and secure cloud infrastructure in the world. And it's a milestone year for us at Rackcorp. We're actually been in the game now for 20 years, which is an incredible thing. And my goodness, how things have changed since the first year of operation. I often like speaking to Lawrence and Steve, the two founders who are still actively involved in the business, and hearing some of the stories about when they began, 20 years ago. So the mission ties into our 4 pillars, which is performance, reliability, security, and simplicity. Now, we don't make any changes to our platform or the solutions unless we go back to these 4 pillars and have a look at how it's going to affect each of them. And we'll only go ahead if it's going to be a positive impact on our partners. So just to paint the picture from the start. So we're a public cloud provider, and we compete directly with the likes of AWS, Azure, Google, Ali Cloud. The level of competition depends on what region we're in. If we're talking about Indonesia, for example, where we have a number of partners, primarily it's Ali Cloud that we're coming up against a lot. And whereas in the Australian market, it seems to be more AWS and Azure. So we being up against some of the largest businesses in the world, we need to be very clear about how we do things differently and what is our points of differences. And we do that we have to be clear on that for a few reasons. First of all, our MSPs, we need them to understand what those differences are and how we compete against them. And for the very reason that they're having these conversations day in, day out with their own existing clients or prospects. So during the presentation, you will hear me refer to some comparisons between us and other public clouds. And to be clear, that is the reason for that, because this is what our MSP community and direct clients always ask. So first of all, from a performance standpoint, we insist that any new potential clients or partners benchmark us against the other public cloud providers. And the reason for that is we want them to see firsthand that there are vast differences between clouds. As a very quick example, we guarantee on each VM a minimum of 10,000 IOPS burstable to 80,000. Now, if you set up the same machine in AWS, let's say it's 2 cores, 4 gig of RAM and 100 gig hard drive, you're going to have access to 1,000 IOPS. And if it's with Azure, it's 1,200 IOPS. Now, obviously, if that level of performance isn't up to scratch, you then have to increase those IOPS, and therefore you end up with a much larger bill than you suspected. And we see that happening all too often. I mean, listening to Ben before from Calibrate, I mean, essentially Ben has built a business around that very fact that cloud costs can be extremely hard to comprehend, to understand. There is a great deal of wastage out there. And there's also a hell of a lot of bill shock. So often IT companies are unfortunately misquoting. They're using the online calculators that the other public clouds offer and putting together a price based on what they believe is to be the right amount, put their margin on top, take it to market. Next thing you know, the customer is complaining about poor performance. Perhaps it's IOPS. You make the appropriate changes, and before you know it, the bill is 3 times what you thought it was going to be. Now, as an MSP, you're faced with a bit of a dilemma here, especially if you have other products and services and they're a long-term client. Do you pass that increase onto your client, or do you simply cop it on the chin? And I guess it's a bit of a mixed bag. We hear stories of some MSPs, unfortunately, that have entered, the market selling cloud. They might have gone from historically selling more, connectivity, or been more of a connectivity provider or a phone system provider. And unfortunately, some of these MSPs are losing money selling cloud, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's such an enormous market and an enormous opportunity. So that's the performance front. Just to summarize, we like our partners to try before they buy. We want them to see the differences that exist between performance, between different vendors, but also to understand the direct correlation between performance and price, because that's a big factor. From a reliability standpoint, we've actually had no core service outages in more than 16 years, meaning we very much have a reputation for delivering cloud services to clients with mission critical applications. From a security standpoint, we have invested very heavily over the last 5 years, and we worked in conjunction with our MSP partners and our direct clients, some of the larger enterprise clients, to develop a range of security solutions that are all available from our portal with one login. So unlike some of the other public clouds where you might have to go out to external vendors to be able to add the additional layers of security, depending on what they are and depending on your specific requirements. But we built out every security solution that an enterprise could want from a security and compliance perspective. So we worked with a number of insurance companies that have to adhere to governing bodies such as APRA. And we went about building it out. And you'll notice there is a theme with that. If we can do it ourselves, we will, because there are major advantages in keeping everything under the one banner, one login, access to all of your security services and all of your cloud services, not just here in this region, but worldwide. It is one login for access to everything. And then from a simplicity standpoint, because our system is proprietary and specifically built for channel partners, we're in a unique opportunity in that respect, in that we've been able to build it to take advantage wherever possible of making life easy for MSPs. One such example of that, where it becomes very advantageous for an MSP to be reselling our cloud over, say, some of the other public clouds, is this. If the platform is simple and easy to understand, and you have different levels of access which you can provide to your clients, and it can be client specific. One client might be a larger enterprise with a team of 15 IT people in their team. They want to touch and feel and do things. They want to make changes. They want to increase storage, set up backup schedules, increase RAM, et cetera, et cetera. You can do that. You can empower your end customers to control a lot of their own cloud, which means at the moment, as I mentioned, the platform is proprietary. It can be white labeled, and we have around about 150 partners globally. So I will say we're very selective in terms of our partners. We don't have thousands or hundreds of thousands, but the partners that we do have, I guess we really do work closely with them, and we push forward together. So no core service outages in 16 years, as I mentioned. The core of what we do, like any public cloud, is dedicated and virtual servers. Of course, I should note that we provide a lot of, although we're a public cloud provider, we do have a lot of private cloud solutions as well. So if you have clients that have specific requirements, we can certainly cater for that and develop a very private environment for them. Of course, we do all the sort of things that other clouds would do: backup as a service, manage exchange hosting, web hosting. We do operate our own content delivery network as well. Again, another reason why many e-commerce companies select us over other vendors. A lot of what we do is about developing high availability environments. We do have our own S3 storage solution, which is a very cost-effective and secure way to share large amounts of data. Unlike some of the providers in the market, we don't penalize our customers for actually accessing your own data. And I think you all know what I'm talking about there. DNS servers, we have over 120 DNS servers operating globally. And as I mentioned before, some of the security solutions that we offer, they're listed there: managed SIEM, file integrity monitoring, network intrusion detection, host intrusion detection. We have a large DDoS mitigation capacity as well. So as I said, every security solution that you could need for your clients, we can cater for. So this is the most important slide, and conscious of time, I'll run through it fairly quickly. Getting back to where I began about why would a company select us over other public clouds? And the answers are the same, whether it's we're talking about engagement with an actual MSP partner that's reselling our cloud, or a direct client. So this is, again, the same information that if you're an MSP reselling our cloud and your existing clients are asking you about the cloud that they're selling, the answers are obviously the same. So firstly is performance, and we covered that. Try before you buy. Let your customers see firsthand the differences in performance. Let them benchmark us against the other public clouds. Let them run the applications in these clouds, in the various clouds, and see what the end user experience is. There are a lot of companies around the world that do performance benchmarking, and some of the things that they discover is astronomical in terms of what they've saved companies from moving into, so to speak. So then there's the security aspect, having all of the security solutions available through the one portal with the one login. And then, of course, reliability. No core service outages in 16 years. You only have to go to the other public clouds websites to see how frequent some of these outages are and how long they are. And I know for a fact our customers, given the skew towards mission critical clients, just would not put up with it. Speaking about high levels of uptime, we put our money where our mouth is as well. And this is a big benefit for our partners that are reselling our cloud. So they're able to back our SLA when they're prospecting for business and tendering for business. So in a high availability environment, if you were offline for more than 4 minutes and 23 seconds in 1 month, we would provide you with that whole month for free, whether you're spending $2,000 per month or $200,000 per month. And I can tell you without a doubt, it is the best SLA in the market. And you can imagine as an MSP, let's say you're going to an e-commerce, you're trying to win a client over that has an e-commerce site, and the CEO has a couple of options in front of them, some from the other public clouds, whereby in a lot of cases, you have to be offline for 18 hours before you receive a 10% credit. And then you have a proposal from the MSP that says that if they're offline for 4 minutes and 23 seconds in 1 month, the month is free. The decision's pretty easy. And our community wins a lot of business based just on that SLA promise alone. We back that up with exceptional support. Our average ticket response time over the last 12 months was 1.5 minutes. And it's not, I know what you're thinking, it's got to be an automated response. It's not. It's one of our team that are all based here in Australia, actively looking into the ticket and getting back to you. So we're very mindful of the fact that we play a big part in the ultimate success or failure, for that matter, of our partners. And we like to say that we're large enough to compete with the other public clouds from an economies of scale perspective, but we're not large enough to not know who our partners are. And if you're an MSP that has chosen to sell cloud to your clients, personally, if it was me and it was my business, I would want to know that the cloud that I'm selling know who I am, and that if I submit a ticket or if I want to make a call to an Australian-based technician, I can speak to somebody within minutes, not days, not weeks. And I hear some horror stories, and it's not good. MSPs could have hundreds, if not thousands, of customers relying on the cloud that they're reselling, and it's not okay for them to be left in the lurch and their customers left waiting for responses. Transparent billing model, I talked about that before. And again, because we're very channel focused, as an MSP, you need to know each month how much your bill is going to be from us so that you can adequately put margin on top and your management fee and make money. Everybody is here to make money ultimately. And so our pricing model for that matter is very predictable and it's very transparent. What you see is what you get. There's no bill shocks at the end of the month. And then from a data sovereignty perspective, it doesn't matter which country we're operating in, but we do a very good job of keeping that data in the country of origin. Every country has different rules and regulations about that. But data sovereignty, I think, finally is starting to really be top of mind for a lot of CIOs, CTOs, etc. So almost at the end, we have a very special offer. In fact, I'm calling it the once in a 20-year offer, and it is just that. So to celebrate the 20 years in business, we've come up with an offer that we've never even come close to be honest, and it's a unique opportunity for any MSPs that sign up to our partner program before the 30th of June will receive 50% off our recommended retail price. Now that, compared to the normal structure, is an enormous uplift. And obviously it puts you in a unique position because you can use that extra margin to either pass on to the end customer and help win the business, or of course, you can ultimately sell in an RRP and make a very healthy margin, more than you would on, dare I say, on selling the other public clouds. Certainly look forward to hopefully meeting many of you that are on the call today over the next couple of weeks and working with you. And that, I believe, is...
Yeah, right. Thank you, David. Thanks for your time. And for all MSPs, it's just so easy to get onto the platform and to trial it and just to see how easy, it is to navigate the dashboard, and create resources and solutions for your clients. But that's fantastic. Thank you, David. And again, a lot of information in the webinar workbook. So now we're going to go across to Donovan Reiger. Donovan is a specialist, he's for Cibecs, a regional sales director at Cibecs based out of Canberra, but Donovan is a specialist in endpoint solutions and an advocate for data loss prevention. So the main thing is securing your endpoints, notebooks and workstations. But I suppose in today, for his presentation is reducing the risk of downtime and data loss during your migration projects. Donovan, you're up.
Right. Thank you, Kelly. Good afternoon, everybody. As Kelly said, I'm Donovan Reiger, Sales Director for Cibecs. Been in this role now for 7 years and been pushing Cibecs into Australia and New Zealand for that time. Today I'm going to introduce one of our products, namely PC Migration Pro. Simply put, PC Migration Pro is the easiest and fastest way to migrate a PC while the user continues to work. So what we've got is, for most technicians, migrating a user to a new computer is quite a manual and time-consuming process. In addition, you've got your end user that has unproductive downtime because they are without their device. So this leads to inefficiencies, one with your technician because of the time they're using to to migrate the PC, as well as the inefficiencies and downtime of your users. A typical migration involves a technician with an external hard drive going around manually finding and copying relevant data for each of the users. In addition, they then need to set up user profiles and email settings, and these are all manually configured on the new device. Again, quite a timely process. Files then need to be copied across to the new device, and obviously ensuring that they're in the correct location. So as you can see, this obviously creates a risk of the end user not getting all their relevant data and their settings potentially being different to what they're used to. With PC Migration Pro, all the user's data and their profile settings are transferred to the new computer while the user continues to work. Progress for the migration can be monitored by the technician from the new device. And since it's fully automated, technicians can easily run multiple migrations at the same time. So the automated device-to-device data transfer eliminates the need for your technician to go and manually search and find files. It reduces the risk of losing any data or data being misplaced, and it reduces the risk of data being left on any external devices or drives with the potential for any unauthorized access at a later stage. Some of the key features for Migration Pro. Sorry, beg your pardon. So key features. So setup of the migration occurs in seconds and again is monitored remotely. This enables the migration to occur while a user continues to work. As you would imagine, while they're working, there'll be files that are being created. You simply, at the end of the migration, and when you're ready to hand the PC back to the user, the new PC to the end user, you run what's called a migration update, and that'll go and find any new or changed files and ensure that those are brought across to. So there's no lost data or lost progress of work in that time. It also ensures that data is securely migrated, all business and personal data between two devices. The other big upside of PC Migration Pro is that it transfers all the user files and profile settings, including system and application settings. And as you can imagine, for the end user, this creates a seamless and less stress-free change when they're getting new hardware. Some of the benefits, user continues to work, as we said, during migration, so no more user downtime. All data, so we don't lose any data, business and personal, as well as configurations and settings are migrated automatically without missing anything. Device to device improves security and eliminates data being copied to external drives. And it's fully automated, so it saves time. Dave mentioned earlier about the cost of resources for MSPs. Instead of spending an hour on a migration, we can now do it in under 10 minutes. So again, there's efficiencies that can be worked out from a technician perspective, as well as the efficiencies for the end user. Some of the additional features, and I won't go through all of these again, just conscious of time. What is important to note that PC Migration Pro supports all versions of Microsoft, so we can migrate from older versions of Windows to newer, up to 11 at the moment. We easily link two devices through a simple to use and unique code, and I'll show you that in the demo in a minute to ensure that we are in fact migrating the data to the correct device. Remotely starts and monitors migration from the new device, so the end user, other than just inputting the key, doesn't impact them. Small file optimization significantly improves speed of transferring hundreds of small files, again, speeding up the process. There's an automatic connection retriability, so if during the process the connection over the network is interrupted for whatever reason, it'll pick up where you've left off and the process continues. We don't need to start again. Shortcuts, desktop and documents are all migrated to new locations, and profile migration, so taskbar settings, Windows folders, network drivers, also on Microsoft Outlook, all email accounts, PST files, even signatures will be transferred across to the user's new device. In addition, any bookmarks on Chrome or Edge are also moved across and will be there for the user when they get the new machine. PC Migration works in a few easy steps. Simply install PC Migration on the old and the new computer. You enter the link code between the two devices. customer or the end user continues to work while the migration is monitored from the new computer. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you simply run an update migration to pick up any of the change files while they're busy working, just before we're ready to switch over the machine, and then the user will be able to continue with the device that was set up exactly as the old one. These are just two screenshots. You can see on the left, PC Migration Pro, selecting the old computer, and on the right-hand side, where the technician can monitor the progress of the migration. Finally, PC Migration Pro was designed with end partners and partners in mind. So it's fully white labeled, or can be white labeled. So again, you can include your logo and your product name and market it as your own product. Self-service license and ordering. So we have a flexible billing model, either fixed price per device or percentage of device. And again, we can discuss that with Cloud Ready. And it really is a good differentiator and sort of creates that ability to keep your customers, because it's just so easy when you do a hardware refresh. So Kelly, we're still good to go ahead with the demo. It's very quick. It'll just show very quickly how easy it is to use PC Migration Pro.
Welcome to the demo of PC Migration Pro, the easiest, fastest PC migration while the user works. Now, for most computer technicians, migrating a user to a new computer is a manual, time-consuming process, but even more so for the user, who would usually have a day of downtime. Typically, migrating a user involves an IT technician with a hard drive, finding and then copying all the files for the user. All the settings, including the profile and email, would then need to be manually configured on the new computer, and all the files would need to be copied back to the right location, risking the user not having all of their data migrated. In this demo, I'll be showing you how you can migrate a user to a new computer while they continue working, reducing their downtime to minutes and enabling an IT technician to migrate a user with a click of a button. Let's look at the user's old computer. Now, this is a typical user with files on their desktop, data across various locations, including their documents, and very important pictures, which include their personal files, data on the OneDrive, and also data on various volumes, for example, an E-drive. Now, this is all the non-standard locations where users save data. We also have a company map network drive that's been set up. The user has an existing Outlook profile, and you can see we have an email signature or multiple email signatures that have been configured. Again, this is all part of the configuration that the technician would need to migrate and set up on the new machine. Look at the account settings. The user has an archive PSD file in Outlook. You can see that's been mapped already. The user also has various browser favorites that have been bookmarked. In this case, the user is using Chrome. It could be Firefox as well, but there are browser favorites, there are extensions, and also the history of the user. And all of that will be included in the migration. Now let's look at the user's new computer. As you can see, there are no files on the device. No data under documents and pictures and OneDrive and all the locations that we showed you previously. If you look at the user's profile and configuration, nothing's been set up. Outlook is newly installed on the computer, but nothing has actually been configured. So it's a brand new computer just with the applications installed. Let's launch PC Migration Pro on the new computer. And the first thing we want to do is select this as the new computer. Once we've done that, we enter the license key that you'd be provided with. We've been given a link code to link the two computers together. You'll notice that there are 12 licenses remaining. Now, this means that you can buy a license with the same license key for a number of devices to be migrated, making it really easy for multiple technicians to share that license key in your organization. So let's go ahead and launch PC Migration Pro on the old computer. We're going to select it as the old computer and then enter the link code that we received from the new computer. And this is a really easy way for you to connect the two devices together without having to enter any IP address information. That's basically all that needs to be done on the old computer. So let's switch to the new computer to start the migration. We'll see a summary of the migration. So we're migrating from Windows 10 to a Windows 11 computer, and we're going to start the live migration. You'll see it will prepare the old computer for migration, And in the background, the new files will start migrating and being transferred to the new device. Let's see what's happening on the old computer while the migration is in progress. And the user is actually continuing to work. In this case, there's a PowerPoint presentation that's open. The user is working on migration is happening in the background while the user continues. Now, typically, this is where the technician would have had the computer and the user would have lost all of this downtime. The user is continuing to write an email. And again, migration is happening in the background. So let's go back to the new computer, which the technician would typically have. The migration is in progress, migrating the rest of the files. We also have progress that shows how long it will take, and we then migrate the user profile settings over. Great. We can now see that the live migration is done, and you'll see that there were 644 files migrated, 8 gigabytes of data migrated. And again, this includes all the files on the user device. Everything is scanned, located, and migrated, as well as the profile settings. You'll notice that there's one file that's been skipped, and this was because the user was working on the document at the point in time. So now it's a very simple process. The user would save and close their files. They would close down the presentation. They would close down the email, and they would now be ready to hand over their machine to the technician to do the swap out. The technician would then run an update migration, as you can see. Again, it would run through the process of scanning through the user machine to make sure that we find any new or changed files that need to be transferred for the migration. You'll notice any new files being added to the new machine. And this is a very quick process because we've done the bulk of the migration while the user was working. We're again migrating the user profile settings to ensure if anything has changed. Great, and the update migration is done. You'll see in that case, there were 29 files that were migrated as opposed to the original 600 plus files that were done. Now we simply sign out of Windows and sign back in. And this will ensure that all the profile settings have been applied to the new computer. So let's have a look. We have the files on the desktop that you saw earlier on. We've got the data, so on the desktop, we've got documents, pictures, again, all the user's personal information, the OneDrive files. Simply sign into OneDrive and you can access those. All the local files have been transferred. And again, the data on the e-volume, so any other locations where users could be sharing files. We have the company network share that's been linked again. Start up Outlook, so Office 365 Outlook, and have a look at the profile. It's a quick sign in with your email address, but all the configuration has been done for you. So you'll see that if we look at the email signature has been set up with the reply addresses. Again, this is all the stuff that would be typically manually set up by the technician. Account settings, we have the PST files that have been mapped. This could be multiple archive files for users. You can see all the email that's already there. The taskbar preferences that have been set up. Again, this is all the type of stuff that the user would be familiar with, all back exactly where they had it before, as well as the user's browser favorites that have been migrated. As you can see, we were able to easily migrate the user with a click of a button, significantly reducing the time spent by the technician as well as the user's downtime. Now, PC Migration Pro can be fully white labeled, enabling OEMs, system integrators, and MSPs, as well as large resellers to include or sell it as their own value-added product. Please contact sales@pcmigrationpro.com for more information.
Again, a special offer for this. Please reach out to Nick and Kelly at Cloud Ready, but we're happy to offer 10 free migrations for all attendees. And we will be running an additional webinar later on that will be arranged through Nick and Kelly just to discuss some of the other Cibecs products. And we will be offering 10 additional licenses if you attend and sign up and attend that. So thank you. I'd like to hand over to Nick.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Donovan. That's great. And another great tool for MSPs to save time and basically save money on those tedious migration projects. So we're going to hand over to our local internal technical guru, Nick G, on StarWind and Wasabi. Off to you, Nick.
Okay, hi everyone. So this is Nicholas G from Cloud Ready. I've been challenged to offer a very short summary on how StarWind software can save MSPs and their clients some money. So let's just very briefly look at the StarWind product line. This basically falls into three categories. Got the hardware, software, and the free utilities. So obviously with the free utilities, you can go and use those things like V2V converter and save money immediately. But essentially, StarWind offer pre-configured, custom-built hardware appliances. These things over here. But also offer the software that enables you to build a solution on your own hardware. For example, if you were looking for a hyperconverged infrastructure, you might consider something like the StarWind HCA, hardware hyperconverged appliance, as an alternate to something like Nutanix. However, if you already have great deals from your own hardware supplier, you could deploy the same solution yourself using StarWind VHCI and work with StarWind to deploy the exact same solution and giving you the ability to create more margin. Likewise, if you want to repurpose existing hardware as a storage appliance or a hardened backup appliance for things like Veeam, or a highly available SAN or a virtual tape library, you can use the other software options here and work with StarWind to get that deployed. So you're really saving money already. So the StarWind HCA is, as I mentioned before, is a hyperconverged infrastructure solution built on either Supermicro or Dell hardware. It's tailored to meet the exact needs of a customer without any under-provisioning or overkill. It brings together the compute, the storage, networking resources into a compact cluster, starting at just 2 nodes for a highly available Microsoft Hyper-V or VMware vSphere solution. The best part about this is that it's fully pre-configured. It's a turnkey solution that requires minimal setup. Simply rack it and connect it to power, and you're set to go. Also, StarWind HCA is supported by a single support umbrella from StarWind for all components using the premium support that operates 24/7 by 365. StarWind VHCI allows you to deploy that same solution on hardware of your choice. So you're able to leverage your own hardware discounts and still enjoy the same level of configuration of support from StarWind. So with StarWind, you get a solution that meets both the customer needs and generates additional margin opportunities for the MSP or solution provider. Alternatively, if you want to build a highly available cluster using your existing infrastructure, your existing VMware Hyper-V hosts, then StarWind vSAN is the perfect solution for you. This solution supports both Hyper-V and vSphere, and for vSphere, it's pre-delivered as a pre-configured Linux virtual machine that can be deployed on the cluster nodes that have storage that needs to be virtualized. vSAN virtualizes the local physical storage and provides a highly available and well-performing shared storage cluster using the iSCSI protocol. It's a cost-effective solution that helps you reduce virtualization expenses. Again, all about recovering opportunities for additional margin or revenue. You often can reuse a customer's existing infrastructure to provide a better solution than what they currently have. What's more, the initial installation is offered by StarWind free of charge. So you can actually sit back and relax as the StarWind engineers configure the cluster for you. Alternatively, of course, you can charge for that installation service if you wish to generate additional revenue. The choice is entirely up to you. StarWind SAN and NAS is another fantastic solution that is, I think, very appropriate for a lot of MSPs. This is a software-defined solution that allows you to convert existing servers into a fully functional storage appliance. One of the key features of StarWind, SAN, and NAS is its certification by Veeam as a hardened backup repository that offers immutable storage specifically for Veeam backups. Additionally, it is hardware agnostic, meaning you can repurpose your client's existing hardware. With STAN and NAS, there's a variety of storage configuration options for redundancy and performance, making it a flexible solution that helps you adapt with the changing needs of the client. Access to the storage is delivered over iSCSI, NFS, SMB, or NVMe over fiber. Installation is very simple with a user-friendly installation wizard that you can install on either bare metal or as a virtual machine. The final StarWind product I wanted to talk about is the virtual tape library. So tape has been the go-to backup infrastructure for many years due to its longevity and its security. However, maintaining a tape infrastructure is difficult and requires trained staff and secure offsite tape vaults for data recovery. On the other hand, disks are becoming more affordable and larger and easy to manage, and providing flexible DR options. Also, we have object-based storage in the cloud, which is an attractive option due to the pay-as-you-go pricing and the automation of backups. So StarWind VTL combines the benefits of disk and the cloud. StarWind provides an emulated physical tape object that is compatible with almost any backup software and multiple cloud providers, solving the problem of object storage and backup software compatibility. So StarWind VTL really brings tape backup into the modern backup world. Oh, sorry, I skipped a slide then. Let me head back. So StarWind VTL is a Windows-based appliance that can be installed on a physical Windows server or a virtual machine. It works, as I mentioned, it works alongside your existing backup software by emulating a HPE LTO7 or 8 tape library and presents it to your backup software over iSCSI. This allows your backup software to perform the backup automatically sent to the cloud object. Cloud providers such as Azure, AWS, Wasabi, Rackcorp, of course, Backblaze, that all use S3 compatible storage. You can customize retention settings to fit your requirements, including the option to keep data on local cloud, on local storage or in the cloud. You can remove virtual tapes from the local storage after they've been replicated, or you can keep them locally for a specified amount of time. Additionally, tapes that have been stored in the cloud can be automatically migrated between different storage tiers in AWS or Azure. We do again have a special promotion related to the cloud that I'm going to talk about very briefly, but for anyone who gets the StarWind VTL from us, certainly when they're trialing it will give you an unlimited amount of cloud to try. But also, if you do purchase the 12-month subscription, will include 30 terabytes of storage for the 30 days while you're in operation. I'm very happy to introduce as well what we're calling cloud-ready storage. And as you may have noticed, that a lot of the promotions that we've been offering are offering free storage at higher capacities that you usually get from cloud providers. That's because Cloud-Ready, we've partnered with Wasabi to bring the ultra low-cost object storage to our partners. So the benefits of purchasing cloud storage from Cloud-Ready include obviously fixed pricing in Australia, discounted storage for smaller sizes of data, granular billing, so we can bill you in gigabyte hours. You pay for exactly the consumption that you've used. Also, the minimum data retention is reduced to 30 days as opposed to 90 days, which can save you money. Other benefits, again, of using the cloud is that there's zero data transfer charges. There's no puts or gets, just transparent billing with the tierless nature. So there are so many compatibilities with our other vendors' solutions. Like I say, we've got the S3 compatible storage, which is fantastic to use as a destination for Arcserve UDP. Also, the Arcserve Solo, as Karl mentioned earlier, can use the same storage, the Wasabi storage, to store backups. Arcserve Backup can use S3 compatible destinations for backups, or it can use the StarWind VTL, which uses its own cloud replicator to make sure the tapes are located off-site. QSound, which we distribute as well, have a cloud sync offering, which can make sure your NAS data is synced to the cloud. And there's many other third-party products that can use that technology. We also have a very interesting product that I'm enjoying a lot. It's called Cloud NAS, which is basically an infinite capacity NAS, which allows you to expand your Windows file servers to the cloud, sync backups to the cloud, or store video content in the cloud. Basically gives you, like as it says, an infinite capacity on your Windows server by simply syncing everything to the cloud and then selectively archiving things that are not needed locally. That concludes my presentation and also the full webinar. So just a quick recap on the specials and the promos that we've had on offer. As you can see, they're all here. I do encourage you to check out the brochure. The link is in the slide there, but also it's been shared in the chat several times and will be distributed via email shortly. And as I mentioned, that's us for now, but if there's any questions that anyone would like to ask, please do, and we can address those immediately.
Yeah, well, thanks again to all the presenters. Some amazing technologies and solutions there, but I think it opens up the conversation for everyone in the industry, MSPs, partners, when having those discussions with your clients and being able to find that extra margin and save costs in today's market. So thanks again. Please have a look at the workbook. There's a lot of videos and information in the workbooks, and you can make contact through us on the email address there, either Kelly at CloudReady or Nick at CloudReady Solutions, or just use the info@cloudreadysolutions.com.au. Thanks to everyone. If there's any other queries that are in the chat, we will respond by email to get back to everyone. So thanks again, everyone. Appreciate your time. Thanks again, our presenters. And until next time, watch the space. We will be promoting a number of videos over the coming months. So thanks again, and